r/antiwork. Peplafora says, does everyone here actually hate their job? It just seems crazy that everyone on Reddit absolutely hates their job. Dreads it every morning and it's torment just to work. Then coming home you have no energy at all, or on the weekend. So much so it severely damages your mental health. Especially jobs that require a college education, which I would think a big portion of Reddit probably has, where got to pick your own major and your field of work to an extent. Why would you pick a major and field you now hate? I myself am going to college to become a nurse. I know it's not going to be easy, but I don't see myself hating it and dreading every day I have to go in. Am I missing something? Used at 7409 says, it's not the job, it's the manager and higher ups that make it miserable. The useless policies that make work insufferable. Kieselgurkid 13 says, this. I actually enjoy the work I do when I get to actually focus on it and collaborate with a good team. It's the systemic issues with management and leadership that drain the life out of an otherwise good job. Soranus 71 says, I enjoy my current job and coworkers, but have a manager who is next to useless. We end up having to find workarounds all the time to accommodate his incompetence. I Polish the ski says, you'll understand soon enough. I drink a lot of coffee says, experience. Good luck. I was happier when I was in college too. Hustleof Culture says, no, I enjoy my job as far as being a job goes. I do hate the corporate culture and absolutely detest corporate speak. If you want to make my blood boil, start speaking to me in corporate speak. My last job I really enjoyed. I just hated the fact they laid me off because they weren't meeting their projections. It had nothing to do with me as the seer said, but again, corporate culture is such that even if you're making record profits, not record sales, but actual record profits, they may very well start laying people off because they didn't meet those ever elusive projections. So even if I like a job I'm always waiting for the other shoe to drop because corporate America just can't help themselves. Fiend Unpleasant says, I have hated every job I have ever had. I have had about 11 or so, and they were all awful. I have worked in several industries and it's all been insufferable. Optimal Scientist 233 says, it is not the job, it is the people in middle management, and since COVID it has gotten increasingly intolerable. Everyone is short-staffed and overworked by people who work at taking everything and leaving little for anyone else. That is why nobody wants to work anymore, at least not for corporate in the US. I predict the situation will continue to deteriorate as there does not seem to be any concerted effort to change the course or momentum building. Edited. r/antiwork. Yondu the Ravager says, fired from my job for not being bought into the company enough. Last summer I moved halfway across the US to take a new job in a new city. The pay was nearly double what I had been making doing basically the same work. It was a no-brainer taking the position. My work was always good, and when they had problems I would work hard to correct it and get above and beyond the new standards. Actually the past few months they were extremely happy with the quality of my work and said as much to me about it, so I know I wasn't fired for that. As the title suggests, I'm neurodivergent. I'm absolutely on the spectrum, and I also have ADD. This never really hurt my actual work as my field is one of my special interests, but I suppose I'm not what you would call outgoing or extroverted. I can talk for hours about certain topics, but small talk is just something I have never truly been able to grasp. Most of my coworkers were almost the exact opposite, though neurotypical, outgoing, very social people. I usually preferred to do my work with headphones on, so I could just zone out and focus on my work, and I rarely attended. Work after hour events. Work ends at 4:30. Why would I want to hang around till 7 or later drinking light beers or White Claws, especially unpaid? And I absolutely refuse to work on weekends. Now all that said, I have never been unfriendly, rude, etc. And I do, or did, make an effort to talk with coworkers during breaks, lunch, etc. And hell, I even went to Thanksgiving at my boss's house and went to their Christmas party, but at the end of the day, it was just a job. It's what I did to keep my family fed and housed and to support our lifestyle. I enjoyed the work, but it wasn't my life, and I wasn't willing to sacrifice my time with my family to that job outside of the expected mom-free 8-4:30. Well, yesterday I get called into a meeting and they tell me they're letting me go, and it's not working out. I was surprised honestly, as I said above, my work has been nothing but commended by supervisors recently, so it felt really out of the blue. I did always feel a little like the black sheep of the workplace due to my social awkwardness, but I just assumed that was me overthinking things. I guess I wasn't. After I was fired, a coworker relayed to me that our boss apparently reiterated to the rest of the team that they need people who are bought into the company and have drank the Kool-Aid. I feel like they don't really understand the implications of that statement, but I digress. That to me paints a clear picture that my firing had nothing to do with my job performance and everything to do with me just not being a social butterfly who lived, slept, breathed, and ate my job/company and was obsessively dedicated to it. They of course didn't say a damn thing during my exit meeting explaining the why of their decision, but I mean, if my work is good, why else? Anyways, I find myself half relieved and half shitting myself in a panic at the moment. On one hand, I'm glad I've had that stress removed from my life, but on the other hand, now I have to scramble to find a way to provide for my family ASAP, which really, sucks. I already have some leads, so hopefully I won't be unemployed for long. Membershipers 2381 says, they see it as you can probably advocate for yourself, see through our bullshit, and are able to set firm boundaries. This really isn't what we are looking for in our cult company. Yondu the Ravager says, yeah, I mean basically, the boss's boss was a hardcore workaholic who would be there late as hell, weekends, weekdays, didn't really matter. They were there. Funny enough, the one weekend I did offer to come in to help, they didn't even call me. Veritas says, same thing happened to me, sort of. I started a job right after a horrible experience with the job I had. Close to home, cut in pay, but not bad. Very excited to not have to commute and to start fresh. First, they had no idea what to do with me. They hadn't thought about the position at all. Second, it was clear the president of the company wasn't crazy about me. They spoke to me like I was an idiot and had absolutely no idea what to do with my skill set. I pretty much started looking shortly after starting. It took about 2 years. After COVID, they started back up with office events, which I did not attend. I'm nice at work, if you ask me to do something I will, but I'm not here to be your BFF, or in my case the office mom. The president did not like this, and I was told at some point that they had noticed. Like WTF. To add to all this, the president likes his women smiling and young. I'm neither. I'm pleasant, but bubbly is a word never used to describe my personality. I'm here to work, not make you feel better about yourself. As I'm searching in Indeed, I come across a position that looks exactly like mine. No company mentioned, but there were words used that I know they used and no one else did. When I confronted the HR director, she first tried to deny it, but admitted that the president had a friend who owned a temp employment agency, blah blah blah. Truth was, I had another job lined up and a few interviews. After all the shit I put up with for close to 5 years between both jobs, I finally found my unicorn. I'm close to work, Small office with no expectations to play happy family. My health insurance is paid for. Have a 401 and I can be myself. It can be out there for you and something I've learned in my almost 50 years of employment. Feck them. Good. Positive Agent 2377 says, I'm not a lawyer, but this sounds actionable given you are on the spectrum. Maybe they failed to accommodate you in some way. r/antiwork. Chusky4 says, burned out, went on sick leave. They want to know med/dosage? Almost 8 years of good service to this company. I burned out and went on sick leave following doc's recommendation. Doc notes provided, plus forms describing details that made me uncomfortable. At recent check-in, I was denied coverage for sick leave unless I provide details on my medications and dosages. WTF. Why? Miyuki22 says, the only information you tell your employer is via a letter from the doctor indicating you cannot work from X to Y day. The letter should not include any other details. Party with Cuts says, fun fact I learned from this sub, it's legally binding that the company pay for any medical exams/treatments if they require a doctor's note for the employee's absence. Grigori Ancient says, illegal lol. Tell em, frick off, here's my doctor note. If they push the issue, contact NLRB. Why do I have an account 9 says, contact your local or state labor board. Your healthcare info is private for a reason. Admomadson says, is it for disability insurance? I'm in Canada, but I'm on limited and my insurance company demands those details from my doctors yearly to continue my claim. My employer isn't privy to those details. Just my insurance company. Chusky4 says, this is funded directly from the employer, no insurance company involved. Lalabud 1990 says, yeah, pretty sure they can't ask that due to it invading your medical privacy. I'm not positive, but you're allowed sick leave. If they don't let you have it, you should be able to report it. I wouldn't tell them what your meds are, just leave it at the fact that you have a doctor's note and you're staying home. Platypus Remarkable 59 says, frick that. Hippel Mayo. Calicut 93 says, are requesting meds and dosages a HIPAA violation? They cannot ask for this information, and if deny your leave because you won't provide it, get a lawyer. Dennis Martful says, HIPAA laws. Mousememory 94 says, this sub is scary. Nearly all comments saying this is illegal, which it might not be depending on a few factors related to the type of leave being requested, who administers the leave, and if a third party needs the information as part of insurance, etc. Or saying it violates HIPAA, which isn't how that works. I did see one comment that was accurate and another that was helpful. I'd love to see the sub disallow legal/illegal stamps unless they provide the exact codified language and source. When all but 2 comments are worthwhile to the op, it highlights how ill-informed people are about their own workers' rights. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe.